Personal Shopper, directed by Olivier Assayas, is about Maureen. She's a personal shopper and a medium, so she's technically speaking able to talk to anyone, except to the one person that she wants to talk to most, her twin brother. He recently passed away and together they made an oath.
Whoever died first would send the other a sign.
And that's what Maureen's waiting for, a sign. What she gets though is a text. But isn't using an insert of a phone kind of boring?
Hey!
Nowadays, filmmakers are trying to find new ways of showing text messages. This topic has already been explored in a great essay by Every Frame a Painting. And I completely agree with him. This looks good, it's simple, it's efficient, and it's cheaper. So there's no reason to do it any other way, right? Exactly. Because then I saw Personal Shopper. In a 15-minute sequence, Maureen's being followed. But she's not being followed by someone physically. She's getting all these strange text messages. She has no idea who's sending these messages. It might even be her dead brother. This might sound strange, but earlier in the film, Maureen sees a ghost. Thus, the film has already established that ghosts exist, or at least in the mind of Maureen. So when she gets these text messages, it could very well be her brother. She might even want it to be. But Maureen's not just being followed, she's also picking up some clothes for her boss. These two stories complement each other. Because when Maureen receives a text that she's going to London, it's scary, because now somebody knows where Maureen's going, but it's also exposition, because now the audience knows where Maureen's going. Someone following Maureen could come straight out of a horror movie, because like she herself writes, most horror movies are about a woman who runs from a killer and hides. If Maureen's receiving text from a killer, then she has to run. But with a phone, this seems difficult. Maureen uses it for work, to talk with people, and as a source of information. It's not just integrated into the film, but also in her life. Completely throwing the phone away is difficult. What she can do though, is hide. In most horror movies, the director cuts back to the killer slowly approaching. But when the killer is slowly approaching in Personal Shopper, Assayas doesn't cut back to a killer, but to a phone. Maureen's getting text messages from the killer, who says that he's getting closer. At this point in the film, it's still not clear what the killer looks like. He could look like this, or like this, and for Maureen, this is as good as it gets. The film also has, like most horror movies, a little jump scare. But most of these things might still work when using the on-screen text message. The biggest problem with using an insert of a phone is that the phone has to be on screen long enough for the audience to read it. In Personal Shopper, you can actually see how difficult it is to get this right on set. Not only are some of the shots slowed down, there's actually one shot where you can see little jump cuts, probably to speed up the text messages. But slowing down the shot also has another effect. The very first text message that Maureen receives is a short one. But this shot is on screen longer than more complicated text message. The first text message comes as a surprise, and the slowing down of the footage adds a sense of dread. Later in the film, when the footage is again slowed down, it's scarier, but it also helps the audience to read the text message. But why would the film still use an insert of a phone and not the on-screen text message? It's more difficult and probably more expensive. The biggest reason the insert shot works though is because of the sheer loneliness that haunts the film. Maureen is in almost every single scene, and for the most part, she's actually alone. She's an American living in Paris, yet she doesn't really speak any French. Only once in the film, and it's not a lot.
C'est bien, yes, it's perfect. Merci.
Her job is to pick up clothing, but the people that help her don't return in the film. Sometimes the film doesn't even show a face. As a result, there's no real emotional connection to these people. And when Maureen does have a conversation with someone, she's sort of singled out, whether it's having her stand up and the rest sitting down, or just in a simple shot, reverse shot. But let's say that Assayas did use the on-screen text message. This doesn't really feel as lonely as the shot, reverse shot. But a text message is of course not really a person. In the film, Maureen's talking to her boyfriend through Skype. If Assayas would have used the on-screen Skype, the result is a two-shot, which again doesn't feel as lonely. Maureen is surrounded by things that make her able to connect, whether it's material or spiritual. Despite this, she's incredibly lonely. Assayas could have chosen countless of techniques, but only one technique truly serves the story.